Hey everybody, this is Deb with Truthification Chronicles, and there was just so much news today. Oh my goodness. So, this is going to be one of those hodgepodge everything tossed in here type news things because wow, there was so much. Also, I'm going to apologize now because I am not going to edit this. So, here we go. We'll see how it happens. Anyway, I watched this just not too long ago, and this was an incredible interview that Tucker did with this guy. It's like, really, really. He talks about the FBI agents that were conspiring to oust Trump. Yeah, like they thought they had the ability to get rid of the president, a sitting president. And it's just incredible. When presented with that information, what does this guy do? He defends it. Oh, yeah, he's definitely a Democrat and everything. But wow, you really have to see this interview. I'm going to put the links down below, as always. But wow, you got to go see this one if you haven't seen it yet. Oh, my goodness. How can they defend it? How? But he tries it. He definitely tries to defend this thing that, oh, like they said, should only happen in a third world country. Not here. It doesn't happen in the United States. But yes, we had some FBI guys that thought they were above the law. So I'll put that one down below. Definitely go watch it because, wow. Anyway, for those who know Q, he's been busy, but he reminded us a little bit about this FBI thing because, of course, this is now in the news after Andrew McCabe did his little show on what was it? CBS, one of their talk shows. Anyway, so here they are. Look at this. I mean, when you look at this, fired, 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 fired. Look at these people. They were all fired. Now, by the way, some of them are on here more than once. I know that. And we're not real sure why. And then there are a couple that are missing. There are about 3 of them that are missing. And there's 3 of them on here twice. So this Josh Campbell is on here twice. And John Carlin's on there twice. So, yeah. And John Carlin has a whole story behind him. Anyway, there's also this guy up here, this Randy Coleman. I have no idea why this Randy Coleman here is R-E and then a hyphen and a D. Don't know. I'm pretty sure it's not R-E-A-D. So just kind of, we're looking at it. The Anons are looking at it and everything, trying to figure it out. But yeah, there they are. Well, let me put this in perspective for you. Check this out. Okay, now I wanted to give you the whole overview of this before I zoom in, but you can see this is the FBI chain of command for the mid-year investigation. The mid-year investigation was Hillary Clinton's investigation. So let's look. Yes, we've got these people. They're fired, 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 fired. This guy right here, I haven't heard that he's fired. I think maybe his tenure ended. It says 2016, so maybe he's not there anymore, and that could be why he's not fired. Both of these were fired. You have this fired, fired. Over here is Bill Priestap, and he is, I think, fired now. Maybe not quite yet, but he's on his way out. That's for sure. Randy Coleman, I am not 100% sure about. Oh, I think he's on that list, though. I think he's in here. Somewhere in here. Randy Coleman, yeah. Oh, well, yeah, he's the R-E, whatever, D. So maybe he's not, maybe he retired, was kind of forced out or something. I'm not sure on that. But anyway, he's gone. And about the only people, and here's Strzok, and the only people you have left is this Tashina Gohar, Kevin Kleinsmith, and Sally Moyer. And according to Q, they are in the batter's box. He said that, oh, it's been a little while since he said that, but it was on one of his posts. And so, yes, they are probably going to be interviewed, and then shortly thereafter, they'll be removed from their positions. So I wanted to point that out to you with the FBI because people say nothing's been happening. Well, yeah, something's been happening. And we know for sure that Andrew McCabe is being investigated with a grand jury. So we know that's a fact. And I would assume that probably all the rest of these guys are being investigated too, because of what Devin Nunes said in the clip that I showed you in the last video, where he was on Fox News and he was saying, yeah, as soon as Barr got in, they were going to start sending him their recommendations for criminal prosecution. So I think these are some of the people that will be in that position. And I think the FBI is probably the first place they're going to start. Now, I understand everybody wants to see the big names go down, but these guys have to go first. Okay? And when all of it is put out there about them, it's going to wake a lot of people up. So they're first on the list. And of course, yes, according to the Justice Department, and we know this, we now have an Attorney General Barr. He has taken his oath and everything, and he is ready to go. So we're going to see what happens with him. I know there's a lot of hesitation. And people are saying, well, but he worked for Bush, so he must not be a good guy. He must be part of the deep state. Not necessarily. And from what I heard in the hearing, it sounded to me like he's really going to step in and take some people, put some people in a position they should have been in. I mean, there's going to be some prosecutions, in other words. I think, according to him, the way he talked, I think when he gets in there, he's not going to be pushed around. And I think he's going to say, now look, this has gone on long enough. It needs to stop. And he's going to really take hold of things. So I know some of you are concerned about the gun issue. But I think if there's a problem, once he gets this mess cleaned up, Trump will appoint somebody else. So don't worry about that at this point. That's just not going to happen right now. Okay, so let's go on. I found this on 8chan and I thought I'd share it with you guys because it is Valentine's Day when I'm recording this. So roses are red, violets are blue. McCabe et al. Failed at their deep state coup. So, yeah, it was one of the Anons that did that. He needed to put the failed up here. I think it would have worked better, but anyway, so there it is. Yes, they did fail at their deep state coup, and now it's starting to come out. So, by the way, if you want to follow me, I am on Twitter. It's under ergo_supero, which means therefore I survive. And it's kind of one of the quotes from one of my characters, cogito ergo supero, which is I think therefore I survive. But I couldn't get all that in there. It wouldn't fit. So, and some of the other parts of it were taken. So it was like, okay, I'll go with this, I guess. Anyway, so you can follow me on Twitter. I really do not tweet a lot. I'm not on there very much. But I do try to find interesting things and retweet a lot, as much as I can. Anyway, here's a Breitbart article. Twitter apologizes for engagement issue spotted by conservatives. Yeah, just this little issue that they had. Twitter apologized on Tuesday after many conservatives on the platform reported that most of their posts, likes, and retweets were disappearing. Yeah, I mean, serious. Like not just not being posted, but they were disappearing. They'd start out with big numbers and then it'd be reduced down. Look at this. Among those who reported malfunctioning Twitter engagements was conservative author and commentator Ann Coulter, who claimed one of her posts, which had thousands of likes, had gone down to just 99. So Trump talks a good game on the border wall, but it's increasingly clear he's afraid to fight for it. Call this his yellow New Deal. Now, I disagree with her on that because Trump is getting the wall, and I knew it all along. We've known, since March, I think it was, when the Anons found out that they were going to use the Red Castle, Green Castle, right? Red Castle stood for the Army Corps of Engineers, and Green Castle, Indiana, has a headquarters of the Army Corps of Engineers. It's not the main headquarters, but it is one of them. So, yes, there we go, Greencastle, Indiana. Anyway, so that, we knew that a long, long time ago. If you're not familiar with Q, and I know there are some of you who don't believe in Q and everything, but he was right on that one. We knew it a long time ago. Also, 314 today was when it came out that Trump was going to definitely declare the national emergency. And Q told us that, well, it's been what, a couple of weeks ago? He told us about the 314. He had the watch and everything. So, POTUS's watch. So, he had it sitting there and it was set at 314. Okay. So, anyway, and then she comes back at him. Hey, Twitter, this tweet had thousands of likes an hour ago. Suddenly it's down to 99. Twitter management is removing likes from conservatives now. And you can see, look at the low numbers. That's just not what would happen with one of her tweets. Just not. And conservative organizer PragerU, Muslim reformer Shireen Kudosi, conservative radio host Larry Elder, and journalist Yashar Ali were also reportedly affected. And so there were several of them. PragerU, I don't know if you know about PragerU. They are in the midst of a lawsuit right now against YouTube because YouTube has declared like many of their videos as like restricted, age restricted. And if you've ever watched PragerU's videos, it's like, really, seriously, none of them should have any restriction on them whatsoever. But they tell the truth about liberalism and the truth about conservatives. And yeah, YouTube doesn't like that. So yeah, they've got a lawsuit going right now. And I wish them well with it because I think it's going to affect what's happening to a lot of us. Anyway, so there's another one. And again, you can see the post. Twitter is undoing people's retweets and likes on my post. Look how quickly the numbers are dropping. And this is within 1 minute. Look at this. 308 to 48. 957 to 152. 2417 to 376. Can you imagine? I mean, that's just crazy that they're doing this. And here's Larry Elder, what's going on. For my last several posts, posted a few hours ago, the number of retweets and likes suddenly declined, dropping hundreds of retweets and likes. Are you experiencing the same problem? Now, like I said, I have not been on Twitter the last couple days, and I haven't really experienced it. But then again, I'm not real big on Twitter, so they probably, I fly under the radar a lot. But a lot of times I feel like I tweet things and I'm not too sure anybody ever sees them. So, and here's Yashar Ali, and the same things happening there and down here. Now, this is a video. I'm going to try to play this. It has no sound, so that's not going to make a difference. But this is a video of these tweets. I don't know if you can see the numbers here. Look, 7,000 something, 2,000 something. But then, it just jumped from 7,000 down to 1, back up to 7. I mean, it's like really crazy. And this one, 27, 119, back up to... It's jumping all over the place. All over the place. Look. I can't explain it. I have no idea what they're doing or why it would be doing this, but something's going on. And so, of course, now we have Twitter saying, oh, well, it was a glitch in the software. And here's one that they're talking about, seeing the different things. It was observed by a lot of people, so it wasn't just one person saying, oh, you're doing this to me. No, it was happening a lot. Some people and look what Twitter says. Some people around the world are experiencing an issue with notifications, likes, and retweets. Twitter proclaimed. We're working on resolving this and we'll follow up soon. We apologize for the inconvenience. You know what is funny? the inconvenience is always, always against conservatives. You know, you don't hear people who are liberal having these problems. Some users mocked the social network company's response, with one user posting, "Tweet suppression must be malfunctioning." "Why is it happening only with right-leaning accounts?" asked another. Yep, that's the truth. Again, all the links will be down below. You can read it for yourself and watch that video again on your own and maybe read through these more if you want to. But yeah, it's crazy, 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 man. Anyway, whoops. Let me skip over. Yeah, well, did you see this one? So Pelosi says if Trump declares a national emergency for this manufactured, let's see, here it says, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said Thursday that if President Trump can declare a national emergency to construct his border wall, a Democratic president can use the same powers to take all sorts of steps the GOP won't like. She mentioned guns as an area where a Democratic president might try an end run around Congress. Because if the president can declare an emergency on something that he has created as an emergency, Trump didn't create this emergency. And it is definitely a problem down there. They want to believe that, and they keep putting that lie out there because if they repeat it enough, a lot of people will believe it. An illusion that he wants to convey, an illusion, see how they use the word illusion, that he wants to convey. Just think of what a president with different values can present to the American people, she said. You want to talk about a national emergency? Let's talk about today, the one-year anniversary of another manifestation of the epidemic of gun violence in America. That's a national emergency. Really, Nancy? And then what? Everyone loses their Second Amendment rights? That will go over well. Look at the wall. Okay, so Trump wants to build the wall to make Americans safer. She would want to take away guns to violate our Second Amendment rights. Now, as far as I know, building a wall does not violate any of our amendment rights, any of our constitutional rights at all. So maybe I'm misreading the Constitution, but I don't think so. So she thinks that it is equal here. And this is what boggles my mind about these people, that they see it so differently and that they can equate these in their minds together. It's like this guy. Here's blatant, obvious people in the FBI trying to plotting to take down a duly elected president. But he defends them and claims it's something good. So, for those who study the Bible, in Isaiah 5:20, it says that there's going to be those who will call evil good and good evil. And that is exactly what we're seeing right now. And if you know anything about Luciferianism, that's what Luciferianism is, pretty much. It turns everything topsy-turvy, where God is the bad guy and Satan is the good guy. Yeah. So, that's fun. All right, here's some information on the Justice Department. I was looking to see what kinds of things went on today. Well, William P. Barr confirmed as 85th Attorney General of the United States. And you can go through and see some of the other things that are going on. One of the things that I found is a lot of people say, oh, nothing's happening, nothing's happening, nothing's happening. But if you go through the Department of Justice, keep up with the news here. They have a page, again, I will put the link down below on this, and every day you can see this news. Now I've got it bumped up really big so people can see it on my screen. It looks a little nicer when you have it down, but they also have a Twitter account, and you can keep track of that, which we saw earlier, right here. And, oops, where was I? Where? Here. Okay. And so there's lots of things going on. All kinds of people being arrested for different things. And if you go through it, a lot of times you will see that they are indictments that were unsealed, because a lot of indictments have been unsealed. And remember, the reason they seal indictments usually in a lot of these cases are to try to make it so that they don't tip off people before they're ready to arrest them all. So like if they're going after somebody who's involved in trafficking drugs, then if they can get that person with a sealed indictment, they've got that ready to go, then they try to get everybody they're connected with and get sealed indictments on all those. And then once they have everybody they can out of that web, then they will unseal the indictments so that they can catch them all at the same time. So, yeah, I mean, all kinds of things. Here was a sentence for oil discharge offense, and Justice Department requires college multimedia rights provider to refrain from unlawful agreements not to compete. It's interesting to see. In a dark web trafficker convicted of drug importation conspiracy. So there's some big stuff happening here. We just don't. Oh, here's an unsealing. The unsealing of United States versus Monica Witt et al. That's interesting. So there are lots of things going on, and you can see this every day. It's updated. You have all these different things that you can see about. It tells if there's a speech, a press release, all of this. And so it's a really good site. If you have people saying nothing's happening, take them here, because things are happening every day. It's updated. Well, okay, it wasn't during the shutdown, but it is mostly now. Okay, let's go here. Judge has issued an order unsealing part of the February 4th Manafort hearing. Don't get too excited. It really didn't unseal too much. However, it did reveal a little bit that's interesting. It has to do with alleged Russian agent Konstantin Kilimnik. I hate Russian names. I suspect this discussion was about Kilimnik being a Western asset. I think it was too. After looking at what was, unsealed, it really was just a few words here and there. But from what was revealed, unredacted, it does kind of seem like that's what the deal was, that he was a Western asset. Anyway, you can look at this, and here's the main thing telling exactly what was going to be unredacted. And then here is let me see if I can. It's not going to let me do that, is it? View. It won't let me see this whole picture. Anyway, you can go in and look at it on your own. So, maybe I'll do it here. Oh, here it is. Okay. Oh, no, not view image info. Duh. View image. There we go. Because when you do it like that, then you can blow it up. This is all that, I mean, really, out of this, what's black here, that's all that was unredacted. So, unsealed, if you want to say it that way. But look what it says. At the U.S. Embassy in the Ukraine. And so he had an interview of this guy at the U.S. Embassy. And this guy has been, it's just really weird. It's like, why would they unredact that? I mean, because it gives you nothing. It tells you nothing. But it does say the United States State Department, which indicates to me, yeah, I think this guy was. I think he was a Western asset. He was working for somebody in the West. And so they were getting information from him. So I don't know that I don't think this is anything that goes against Manafort. I think it actually kind of is good for him. So I will leave that link down below too, so you'll be able to see that. Okay, how about this one? This one ticks me off. GOP and Dem deal spends 40 times as much on foreign countries as the border wall. 40 times. Or a Republican-Democrat spending bill being offered to President Trump spends nearly 40 times as much on foreign aid as it does on a wall to secure the United States-Mexico border. And so it's just crazy. If you go down here, it tells you how it was total of about $50 billion is spent on foreign aid. And here's some of the things that it went to. 9.15 billion for international security assistance, 1.9 billion for foreign food and hunger programs, 3.1 billion for global health programs, 3 billion for international development assistance, 3.7 billion to support the economies of foreign countries, 4.4 billion for international disaster assistance, 3.8 billion for assistance for foreign refugees. Now, why in the world are they barking about giving Trump 5.7 billion? Why would they even complain about it if they're giving all that money away? This is something that I have real problems with. We have people here in the United States who are still struggling. I mean, they struggle with having enough food every day. They struggle with having a place to stay, a quality place to stay. They have, trouble meeting their bills and everything. We have some real serious problems here with poverty. But instead of addressing that, we're giving to everybody else. That doesn't go over very well with me because I always think that you need to take care of your people first. You need to take care, like with your family, you need to take care of your family first before you go helping others. I definitely think you need to help others. I think that's wonderful. But, don't take money that your family needs. I mean, it's kind of crazy for your family to go hungry while you're giving money to other people so their kids don't go hungry. You know what I mean? So take care of your own first, and then you'll be able to reach out a little bit better. And I think since we have so many Americans that do still need things, I think we should be a little more focused with home first before we do too much more philanthropy outside of the United States. But that's my opinion. So technically most of this is my opinion, isn't it? Anyway. Okay, this is something interesting. This is one of the Anons made this up. Sorry. And what this is, it's a way to search. This is the instructions, kind of. But what this does is it searches a database of the Obama White House online visitors. And so he said it's kind of interesting to see what happens when you put people's names in. And he gives you all the directions here on how to use it. And so I'll put that down below. I think it's, oops. Let's look up Merrick Garland. I haven't used it, actually. I just found it. And so, was it 1T or 2? Or was it Merrick? My brain's kind of going right now. I think it was Merrick. Anyway. Oh, I must have messed it up. Was it Merrick? You ever do something and you're like, there we are. Yeah, I spelled it wrong. I knew I would do that. I always mess up his first name. I don't know. Because I've known somebody named Merritt, but I didn't know somebody named Merrick. So anyway, look at all the times he was there. He was there quite a bit. Wow. Yep. And y'all know that he was there. Does this say? He was there the day before Scalia died. Not sure I see it on here. I don't see any Februaries. I know it was on there. I saw it. March. Anyway, so, and there's the instructions again down there at the bottom if you need it. But yeah, you can search for different people. I don't know. Maybe something will come up and you'll find some connection of some kind. And if you're wondering, okay, it came up really weird. Okay, I don't know. I'm going to leave this one. But this is the Wayback Machine here. And this takes you to the Obama White House. And it was something to do with the... this was that file that had all the White House visitor records. There you go. But it's a really big file. It's like 1.13 gigabytes. So it's pretty big, and I don't know, my connection was being weird tonight, and it didn't want to open it. So but there it is, and I'll put that down below. I know it starts out looking really weird, but that's how the Wayback Machine things look like, the webarchive.org. So you can still get there. A lot of times, if a website has gone down, you can go back and you can capture it that way. You can see what it said. Okay, yeah, here was the 314 thing, because Q gave us a post, and it had POTUS's watch here. It's a really expensive watch from what I understand. And then one of the pens, like the pens that POTUS uses to sign the executive orders, and then a folder like an executive order type thing. And then it had 314. That's what this is set at, 314. And sure enough, at 314 today is when it was announced, when it came out public, that yes, Trump was going to call the national emergency too. Okay, and I just thought this was kind of interesting from James Wood. Yeah, James does a great job here. Will Supreme Court rulings decided in Ginsburg's absence eventually be overturned as fraudulent? See, where's Ruth? Proof of life. Yeah, I would like to see. I'd like to know something about her. Now, like I said, I don't know it. People have said that she has turned in some votes, and I have not had time to go to the Supreme Court website and check it all out. But, if she has been, if votes have been cast in her name, I don't think that should be allowed, first of all, because if you cannot physically be present, you should not be voting. Because we don't know who's doing the voting. Voter fraud. Pretty sad when it's Supreme Court voter fraud. And yeah, what happens if we find out later that she has been dead for a while and somebody else is voting in her name? I mean, it's pretty serious. Look at this. All these different kinds. There you go. You want some hashtags to use those hashtags. Asking for 325.7 million friends. Oh, who's Ginsburg? Oh, wow. Anyway, I love their memes, okay? We'll be ruthless. Okay, if you don't understand about the memes, I've got to tell you about this, guys. The reason memes are important, first of all, they're funny. But the main reason is because the algorithms that they use on these social media platforms can't really read the meme. It doesn't know if it's a liberal meme or a conservative, I hit my microphone, or a conservative meme. So because it can't tell the difference, we get our memes through when text sometimes doesn't work. So that is one of the main reasons that Q went to the 8chan boards. I mean, first of all, they're really good at digging stuff up and finding information, but they're also very good at making memes. And memes get the truth out there in a way that the text can't, because the algorithms for especially Twitter and Facebook will sift through those and will sort what you're saying, and it won't get the exposure. But the memes get through. That's why we need memes. And there's actually I read this entire presentation that was done from 2011, and it's on memetics. It is evidently memetics warfare. I mean, it was done by like the Department of Justice or Department of Defense. I don't remember which branch it was, or if it was just the intelligence. I can't remember right off, but I have the document, and I probably have linked it, the other link. So maybe when I go through and do this, I will look to see if I can find the link and put it down below. And so there's this whole warfare, memetic warfare, and it has to do with how memes are used and perceived, because they enter the brain in a slightly different way than just text messages or something that you hear. So I found it very interesting to read. It was a little creepy in a lot of ways, really, because it was like, ooh, we are just so stinking easy to manipulate, aren't we? And so, you have to be careful about it, of course. But a lot of the times, these memes can get truth out there in a way that saying something isn't going to do. So that's the whole thing about the memes. And yes, there is a real meme war going on right now. And the left cannot meme. They just can't. They try. They're sad. So yeah, the right, we tend to do a lot better job when it comes to memeing, and that's why you'll find a lot of really good memes. So, oh, I'm sure they've got several. So, anyway, oh, look at this. That's funny. Justice Ginsburg, you look fabulous. So full of energy. RPG, you go, girl. She's so healthy. Wow. Oh, I don't know. Lots of fun things when you go over to Twitter. I love some of the stuff they do. But yeah, so James Woods had this nice little tweet here. He's got some pretty good stuff most of the time, so I like watching him. Anyway, that's what I've got for you tonight. And like I said, it was one of those days where there were just so many things coming at me. I'm working on the Democrat thing from Whitaker's hearing, but everything else, real news keeps coming up, current news. And so it's like, well, that can wait. I can do that later. And I'm going to focus on what's going on today. And of course, today I spent the whole time trying to figure out, okay, is he going to sign this bill? I don't know. I sure hope he doesn't sign that bill, because wow, it's got some really stupid stuff in it. I can't imagine that he will sign it. I don't know. I didn't see the signing. I'm pretty sure he hasn't signed it. But they had Nancy Pelosi signing it. And I've got to say, I did not know the Speaker of the House was supposed to sign something, because I've never, ever, ever heard of that before. But who knows? I'm sure there's a lot of procedures and things, or maybe she just made it up and wanted to make a big deal so she could sit there and chatter about how it's so wrong that what Trump wants to do. I don't know. Oh, I sure hope there's a sealed indictment with her name on it. Oh, and I hope it comes out soon. By the way, speaking of kind of missing people like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, where's Dianne Feinstein been lately? She seems to be kind of low profile, doesn't she? I haven't really seen her interviewed much. So, kind of interesting. But yeah, there's something going on there, I think. Maybe she knows she's being investigated. She has to know, because that one thing where she came out to talk with Chuck Schumer, I'm pretty sure it was Chuck Schumer, and they were talking about how they had to go into this special SCIF, the place where they see the classified documents. And at one point, she and her staff were required to leave to see more of what the FBI had done in the Kavanaugh stuff. So I definitely think they were investigating her for the whole Kavanaugh thing. So lots of investigations going on. And if, like I said, that thing that Nunes said a couple days ago, they were just waiting for Barr to get in, and as soon as he got in, they were going to present him with all these recommendations for criminal prosecutions. So I think we're going to start seeing some criminal prosecutions, but I do think it's going to be the FBI guys first. It's going to be these guys, okay? They're the first step, and then it's, you got to start with the small fish first. You just have to, because the American people need to see this. And a lot of people know what's been going on with the FBI, and it's going to be really easy to prove. And so when they see that and they start to get that, and then it starts unraveling more and more and more and more, and we find out the connections behind it and everything. Yeah, it's, by the way, there's, I have it set for FBI. Because, see, this right here was a chart that was in the OIG report that came out in June. So, the Inspector General's report. This shows how the FBI people had reporters they were talking to, and they weren't supposed to be. So, I mean, this is like, how many times did they contact these people? Look at the contacts. 13 times. 17 times. Ooh, 17. So, look at all of them. I mean, they were doing this 23, 21. The assistant director had a reporter, special agent, section chief. I mean, they weren't supposed to be talking to the press, but they were. Now, let me go through. Yeah, this is an interesting point, too. Check this out, because behind closed door testimony reveals FBI leaked info to press, then used it to obtain FISA warrants. These 4 traders signed off on the FISA applications. It's time for you to fry. These 4, their names are on them, and if the FISA was bogus, then they need to spend time in prison for it. Okay, some of these are a lot of the things that I have going on. This one, I really would like to do this one and put all the fired on there, but it's going to take a little while. And as you can see, it's really, really small. But this is their organizational chart. And this was Nick_Weil who did that. So, yeah, put it together. That's really complex. But anyway, yeah, we got the FBI to spy on your presidential campaign. And we spread word that the Electoral College and Supreme Court are illegitimate. And we chase our political enemies out of restaurants. Why? Because Trump's a threat to our democracy. Really? Okay, there's one that has all the fired. And, of course, Q's post showing us that they were all fired. So, yeah. This is interesting because this one was from September 30th of last year. Breaking, multiple sources now telling me 3 additional investigations are about to open. The FBI felony lying to Congress by accusers making false claims. Congress, Senator Feinstein's handling of the Ford letter. And AG Barr into Ford's attorney's malpractice. So those are probably also still going on. Like I said, with Feinstein, we haven't heard a lot out of her. And I can't help but wonder if that wasn't part of it. Okay. I don't know. I just have all kinds of things in this file. So I'm kind of running through it real fast here. Yeah, the real election collusion. These guys. And all their cronies. And part of the reason that we needed this much time before anything could be taken care of is because it just takes time to find all the foxes. Unfortunately, the foxes are dressed kind of like the hens, and sometimes it's hard to find them all. So, yeah, these are the ones. Fired. And this one has it with the rotten apple. This was interesting because Jim Jordan did this tweet, and this is back August 13th, 15th, whatever, 13th. And he had this tweet, and it talks about Comey fired, McCabe fired, Baker demoted, left, Rubicki left, Page demoted, then left, Strzok demoted, fired. It says they left, but they were forced out. Okay. So, and then it had a Q post here that had basically the same stuff on it. So, yeah. We've known for a long time a lot of these people were being put out. See, this is the old version, but there's been people fired since then, so I updated it. Yeah. Okay. So, FBI, this is all under FBI. That's why you're seeing so much of this. Yeah, lots of stuff. Another Q post where he talks about these people. So, yeah, it's all starting to happen. Oh, this was an interesting letter. This was by Devin Nunes, and he was asking Gowdy and Goodlatte, who at the time, Gowdy was the chairman of the Oversight and Government Reform, and Goodlatte was the chairman of the Judiciary in the House. And Devin was in charge of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. And he said, hey, we've got a lot of things in common on this, and we really need to kind of work together. How about these people? And so here are some of the people that you will see back on that same chart that, just a minute, let me find it here. This same graphic, it's like some of the same people. So that's what I've got for you tonight. I'm going to stop at this point. I realize I've kind of babbled on a little longer than I thought. And Q dropped a whole big bunch more. So I guess I'm going to go check out to see what he just said. And everything. And so it's been a long day. And lots of things have happened. And trying to keep up with the news. That's the challenge when you have a channel like this, right? I was watching a channel that had crafting things, and she was talking about how she did all her videos ahead of time. And it's like, yeah, can't hardly do that, especially not in the Trump administration, because you never know what's going to happen next. So anyway, but that's what I have for you. And please, if you would just click that subscribe button down at the bottom, I would love that, because I've got a birthday coming up in the middle of April, and my goal is to hit 60,000 subscribers by then. So if you could help me out, I would really appreciate that. And I want to thank you all for subscribing, the ones who already have, because you guys are amazing. I love being with you. I love reading your comments, and I love just the support that you've shown to me. It's been so wonderful. So I hope that I'm living up to your expectations. That's my goal, is to get the truth out there. So that's what I've got for you tonight. I want to thank you for stopping by, and I'll see y'all later.